I'm the Iron Man, Patrick Shear. Welcome to Scotties Sports Network, your handsome and benevolent source for all news sports related. The baseball season is off to a wild start and games are in full swing. Over the weekend, most games in the Midwest were postponed due to a massive snowstorm, but that did not affect the red-hot Mets and Red Sox. Both teams have only lost 2 games this year and have won 9 out of their last 10, putting them in first in their respective divisions. The defending champion Astros have also been playing extremely good baseball, but have been unable to keep up with Shohei Ohtani and the Angels. The local Rangers have had a very disappointing season, and it doesn't look to get much better as Elvis Andrus fractured his arm and is out for at least 6 weeks. The NBA regular season came to a close last week with the playoffs kicking off on Saturday with 4 games, and then 4 games on Sunday as well. The top seed in the West is the Rockets, and they look like the biggest threat to take down the defending champion Warriors. The Raptors are the number 1 seed in the East, but the outlook is murky as LeBron has appeared in the past 7 finals, but with this year's team looking weak and the Celtics losing their best player in Kyrie Irving for the playoffs, We'll be right back with Between the Ropes from our wrestling analyst Cole Pettyjohn after this short message from our sponsors.
Over 500 million plastic straws are being disposed of into oceans and landfills every day. It can't be true. Watch this. Millions of these end up in thousands of these.
Hi. Earlier, I didn't know what I was talking about. 500 million of straws a day is not good for our oceans. And if we could just make that one change to reusable straws, it would make so much of a difference for our population and for the sea. Thank you.
Welcome to Between the Ropes. Welcome to the first ever edition of Between the Ropes with Cole Pettyjohn, found exclusively on Scotties Sports Network, where we assess any and all things World Wrestling Entertainment. I'm your host, Stone Cold Cole Pettyjohn, and this week we'll be looking into the past WrestleMania weekend as well as NXT TakeOver New Orleans. The cards were certainly stacked for the biggest weekend in all of sports entertainment, so we'll see. All the teleprompters just turned off. So I'm just going to freestyle this right here. The cards were certainly stacked for the biggest weekend in all of sports entertainment. So we'll see which matches lived up to the hype and which ones didn't. Only 4 WWE matches in the past 20 years have been bestowed a 5-star rating. And 2 of those matches occurred last weekend at NXT TakeOver New Orleans as the dynamic developmental brand kicked off a white-hot weekend. The 2 matches to receive such praise both opened and closed the show, as the ladder match to crown the inaugural North American champion went on first, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa settled their 6-month blood feud with a no disqualification match in the main event. The ladder match featured plenty of high spots, as well as the debuts of popular independent talents EC3 and Ricochet, as they went head-to-head with the Belfast brawler Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Velveteen Dream, and eventual winner Adam Cole. The main event saw the Rebel Heart, Johnny Gargano, finally gain the upper hand over his greatest foe, Tommaso Ciampa, and emerge victorious after applying the Gargano escape submission hold and finally forcing the bane of his existence to admit defeat. Elsewhere on the card, Aleister Black defeated Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT Championship in an impressive outing for both up-and-coming stars. Shayna Baszler defeated Ember Moon for the women's title in a shock finish. and the Undisputed Era retain their NXT tag titles in a triple threat with the Authors of Pain and the makeshift team of Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong, after Strong betrayed his partner and joined the Undisputed Era to round out a stellar show that I would officially grade 92 out of 100. The main WrestleMania show was loaded with star power, but the main complaint of many fans was that it was simply too long, as it featured nearly 7 hours of wrestling from top to bottom. Asking for such elongated audience engagement can prove taxing and did lead to muted reactions from a deflated audience at times. Aside from that, the main card simply did not produce the same level of wrestling as TakeOver, and matches that many had high hopes for fell flat. The billed dream match between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship did not meet its lofty expectations, and was really only saved by a post-match heel turn from Nakamura, which still has yet to be explained. Nia Jax defeated Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title in a match that featured great storytelling and a decent build-up, but simply did not deliver in the ring, similar to The Undertaker's match with John Cena, which saw the Dead Man return to the ring after a year of inaction to confront the 16-time world champion, following weeks of taunting. All the hype for this encounter was immediately nullified by a match that lasted less than 5 minutes, as The Undertaker steamrolled John Cena to extend his WrestleMania record to 24 wins and 2 losses. Many believe that this match was shortened as The Undertaker recently underwent hip surgery and suspect that he and John Cena will once again meet in a rematch in 2019. Nonetheless, myself as well as many New Orleans faithful were glad to see the Last Outlaw saunter to the ring once again. The Bludgeon Brothers defeated the New Day and the Usos for the SmackDown tag titles in a short but violent match, while on the Raw brand, Braun Strowman picked a 10-year-old child named Nicholas out of the crowd to be his partner for his title match and went on to single-handedly defeat the Bar to win the Raw tag team titles for both Nicholas and himself in a piece of puzzling booking that I'm still struggling to comprehend. The Intercontinental title changed hands as Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor and The Miz in the best men's match of the night, and a unique display of storytelling, in-ring psychology, and athleticism. The final 2 women's matches stole the show, though, as Charlotte defended her SmackDown women's title against the undefeated Asuka, and Ronda Rousey made her WWE debut in a mixed tag match alongside Kurt Angle to take on Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. The match between Charlotte and Asuka featured the best in-ring action of the evening, as Charlotte and Asuka traded various submissions and mat wrestling maneuvers back and forth, all before Charlotte landed an astonishing Spanish fly from the top rope. The crowd was left in stunned silence as Charlotte forced Asuka to tap out to her figure 8 submission and ended her 3-year undefeated streak to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey's WWE debut was met with great skepticism, as many believed her to be out of her element in her transition from mixed martial arts and the UFC to the sports entertainment world. But Rousey exceeded any and all expectations, proving she can more than hold her own outside of the octagon in her mixed tag match that many are calling the best of the entire show. The match concluded when Rousey forced Stephanie McMahon to submit to her patented armbar. Finally, WrestleMania weekend concluded with what is being deemed one of the worst main events of all time, as Brock Lesnar defended his Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. Considering Roman Reigns has been featured in the past 4 WrestleMania main events, and Brock Lesnar has only been pinned once since 2013, many fans are tired of seeing these two in the title scene and are begging for new content. Add to that rumors of Lesnar possibly leaving the WWE to return to the UFC, the outcome of this match seemed all too predictable, as over 70,000 fans dreaded another championship coronation for Roman Reigns. Boos showered the Superdome in a match that was hurt by its repetitive nature and predictable nature as well. Featuring less than 10 different maneuvers that were just recycled on multiple occasions, the only saving grace of this matchup was the surprise ending that saw Brock Lesnar retain his title. All in all, WrestleMania was decent, but nowhere near on the same level as NXT TakeOver. My final grade for WrestleMania, 64 out of 100. That's all for Between the Ropes. Be sure to tune in next week for our analysis of the Superstar Shakeup and predictions for the Backlash pay-per-view. I'm Stone Cold Cole Pettyjohn, and we'll be right back with the Iron Man after this quick break.
Welcome back. I'm the Iron Man Patrick Shear, And now it's time to talk about local sports. The Scots baseball team took home a crucial win on Thursday night against the Forney Jackrabbits by a score of 2-1, beating Texas A&M commit Jonathan Childress, but fell on Saturday by a score of 4-0 and were no hit by Texas A&M commit Mason Englert. The Scots sit in a tie for second place in district with Forney and could manage to win district if they win all of their remaining 4 games. That will not be easy as they play Royce City, who is 4th in district this week, and finish with Wiley East, the district leader. The Lady Scots soccer team season came to an end on Saturday, losing in penalty kicks to Frisco Wakeland, making that their first loss of the season. That's all for our show today. Join us on our next show, which is yet to be decided. I'm the Iron Man, signing off. Stay classy, Highland Park. This is an HPHS.TV production.